It's 2015, there's just the one. Life was good and really profitable, but the industry woke up, causing a seismic shift in the landscape. And by the end of 2019, there's been an explosion of all kinds of styluses, and that's a good thing, providing options for all budgets. We'll be comparing some alternatives to the Apple Pencil across a wide range of price points, all the way down to $8. The Apple Pencil is feature complete. It does everything, but at a high cost. The Logitech Crayon is Apple's most direct competitor, literally claiming to use the same technology and lacking only the pressure sensitivity. Is that enough? Next is a disc-tipped pen, which is the only one here that doesn't need any power, and instead uses a larger contact area of the disc for the capacitive action to take place. Finally, the popular powered capacitive pen, which I'll refer to as just the powered pen, that I've seen ranging from $15 to $35. It uses power to compensate for the smaller surface area of the tip, and is probably the most popular alternative out there. Alright, let's get to it. Starting with the disc pen, it actually performs well. Diagonal lines have always been troublesome for capacitive pens, but here it's pretty smooth with minimal wiggly lines. Next up is the powered capacitive pen. See those wiggly lines? That's not my hand, it's the pen. So right off the bat, you know these pens are not great for artists. Next, the Logitech Crayon. As expected, performs extremely well. Feels like an Apple Pencil, but missing pressure sensitivity. And the Apple Pencil, it works flawlessly, and you can see the varying thick and thin lines from the pressure that's applied. On to taking notes. The disc pen does fine, but it's not comfortable since you can't rest your palm on the display. So one way around this is just to use a piece of paper that your palms can rest on as you write. Like here, I'm just using a receipt folded over. Next, the powered capacitive pen does better here than in the shape test, but still not as good as the disc pen. The Logitech Crayon has smooth lines and writes just as if you're writing on paper. The Apple Pencil is similar to the Crayon. Both are excellent and the best you can get for writing notes. The last test is drawing diagonal lines. Again, the disc pen does surprisingly well. As we've seen before, the powered pen does not do well in these diagonal line tests. Even with the help of a straight object, it has trouble. But if you do faster swipes, you can get straighter lines. It's just that it's hard to maintain that velocity every single time. The Apple Pencil did extremely well as expected, just like the Crayon with the diagonal test. With the zigzag lines, you can see the pressure sensitivity in action. As I press harder, you'll see the thicker lines. And of course, it also supports the tilt functionality, which is quite nice for filling in larger areas. The Crayon does really well in this diagonal line test, as well as you're going to get in a non-vector app. In the zigzaggy lines, I try to add pressure, but as expected, you don't see the thicker lines because it doesn't support pressure. But it does have the tilt function, which is quite nice. So what's the conclusion? The Crayon is actually just like the Apple Pencil. They're almost equivalent, except that the Crayon doesn't support pressure sensitivity. So if you don't need that feature, you might as well just go for that since you'll save a few bucks. But if you need everything, you have no choice. There is no competition. You have to get the Apple Pencil. For a pointing device, the powered pen is pretty decent since you don't have the tip that can break off. If if you're on a budget and can live without palm rejection, then the disc pen is really good. I actually would recommend it for everybody, even people that have an Apple Pencil, just because it's so cheap and so useful and doesn't require power or connections or anything. So I hope this was useful, and thanks for watching. See you next time.